Parents, I heard from a mom today asking, how do I limit the screen time on my child's phone? Well, I want to show you how to do that. First, click on the settings button on the iPhone, as you can see, and then scroll down a little bit to what we call screen time, as you can see right there, screen time. Now, I want you to click on screen time, and I have this on so you can see how much time I've used and all social networking, productivity, and other. It's scary. But I have something set called downtime that I want you to look at. Downtime means you can start turning off apps at a certain time. At 9:30 p.m., I want all of my apps to really turn off. That's an hour before I go to bed. I probably could have it to 8:30. Your kids should have it to 7:30. You have to turn it on by turning it green right there. See that? It's now off, and then I'm going to turn it back on. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it's on. Let's go back over to app limits. Now, app limits are kind of cool because I have a setting of 5 hours on all my apps, but you can add other limits and do stuff. Set daily time limits for app categories you want to manage. App limits reset every day at midnight. This darkens out all of my apps at a certain time. But what if my kid needs to use a certain app to call me? Well, you go to the always allowed. You see the always allowed right there that's highlighted? Boom. That's always allowed. Choose the apps you want at all times to be on, and you can add them to this list. So the phone is never turned off. Messages, FaceTime, Airbnb, airport utility, and then Maps is a really big one to add in here. So there's certain apps that'll never turn off. Okay, so that's the always allowed. And then content and privacy restriction is really important too. This is if you don't want your kids to make purchases. So if you turn this on, you're going to have the chance to go to allowed apps or iTunes and app purchases. You can then don't allow kids to install apps, deleting apps, don't allow them to do that. That way, if they do download something, you can see it, in-app purchases. And you could also turn off the don't allow to delete. And the reason that's important is because if you have monitoring stuff on there for whatever reason, it doesn't allow them to delete it, which is interesting. Okay, so back over, and then the in-app purchases is really, back to content restrictions and stuff. In-app purchases is very important down here. So it's just a place to spend a little bit of time. I want to give you some confidence to do that. Allowed apps, you can go to all the apps, you can turn things off, turn things on. Content restrictions, I mean, it's really going to be hard for Apple to know everything you're doing because if you allow YouTube, you're going to give your kids access to the whole world. Location services allow, contacts allow. Oftentimes you can actually turn this off and not let certain things have access to your contacts. Bluetooth sharing. This really gives you a lot of granular ability. Now here's an interesting thing. Use a screen time password. You see that right there? Use a passcode to secure screen time settings and allow for more time when limits expire. So you can set up a passcode. Now, I'm the owner of this phone, so I can bypass it pretty easy with one click, but you might want passcodes that only you know so your kids can't get around that. And then this is really interesting. You see this shared across devices? This is pretty powerful. Shared across devices means if your kid has an iPad, a Mac device, and an iPhone or whatever, then you can enable this on any device signing into iCloud. So if your kid has their own iCloud sign-in, which is really could be good, it'll report their combined screen time. It's pretty awesome, shared across devices. Okay, so that's what that looks like. I have it on for me, which is really, really scary to see. I mean, it's a busy day. I've had a lot of calls, and yet it's 3:11 p.m. I've already been online for 3 hours and 16 minutes. It's unbelievable. For you as a person, as an adult, it's something to consider. Guys, click the link below, smartsocial.com newsletter. I want to send you our free guide, how to navigate social media with your student. And it's going to teach you how to talk to your kids about this rather than just limiting. It'll talk to them how to find out what your kids are doing online, offline activities that are really meaningful, and then how to shine online and be ready for college admissions as early as 8 years old. Really how to launch your kids so that, because they are developing an online brand, how to get them to develop an online brand that your family is proud of. Law enforcement uses this guide. Counselors, psychologists, everybody's using our tips, and I hope to give them to you 100% free. Just go download that today. Click the link below. I look forward to seeing you online. I'm Josh Oakes with smartsocial.com. Thanks for watching.